on the European LCS.
Another, and they're just motoring through the Millennium defensive front line now. The tackle shot, and Chuck finishes the job. Fantastic stuff from Alliance.
Nice.
Rocket now 1-7 in the league. They put up a good performance this week, but again, the problems persist. Not going to be enough. They've got 2 kills. This is surely gain for the Super Hot Crew. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the European League of Legends Championship Series, coming to you live from our studios here in Cologne, Germany. I am Lee D-Man Smith, and I'm here with Trevor Quickshot Henry once again as we kick off the week 4 of the summer split action.
Yeah, well, we ended last week with the teams actually starting to spread out in the table just a little bit, but I would honestly not be surprised to see those gaps closing as we head into today's matches.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the standings before we head into week 4. First off, at the top, it is Alliance. Top of the table, currently riding on a 6-game win streak, and that takes them to 7 wins, 1 loss. And the only current tie in the European LCS is 4th place, where Fnatic and Millennium both have 4 wins and 4 losses, which is not really where we expected to see either of these teams after the spring split.
Definitely not. And sitting in last place, we do have Roccat. 1 win, 7 losses. They have actually lost 6 matches in a row, and they will need to turn things around in terms of their performance if they want to salvage the splits at all.
And of course, those standings will change as we start the day with an El Clasico match between SK Gaming and Fnatic. The next match, well, it was to be Roccat versus the Copenhagen Wolves. However, the Wolves have had to forfeit due to one of their players falling ill and the team failing to field an eligible substitute in time for today.
Yeah, it is a frustration. So instead, we will head into the Super Hot Crew versus Millennium, and we will end today's LCS matchups with Alliance versus Gambit Gaming. The action will continue with the European Challenger Series semi-finals as Alex Sitch and the Ninjas in Pajamas take on Ocelot and Gamers 2.
And after looking at the matchups, these are the players we'll be keeping a close eye on this week. For me, first off, it has to be Sven Skåren. He was MVP last week and is the man that makes things happen for SK Gaming. He had a 94% kill participation against Gambit Gaming, ending at 8 kills, 2 assists, 2 deaths and 9 assists. If he can keep delivering performances like that, SK will win games with ease, that's for sure. Second up, it is Selfie. Since replacing Moops in the mid lane, Selfie has grown from strength to strength. He faces Kerp and Overpower this week, so will certainly be tested. But the way the Super Hot Crew are playing right now, those are 2 games they should win.
I completely agree with you. For me, I want to start with Yellow Star. He's the man that places the most wards of any European LCS player, with a total of 462 wards placed. That's in 8 games. That is 50 more wards than Vander, who has placed the 2nd most, and over 100 more than Nif at 358. Then, talking about Alliance, it's Froggen, the man in the mid lane. He's got the highest European KDA. He pulled out a Nivea twice last week. He's an absolutely dominant force on any champion, and I want to see if anyone else in Europe can challenge this man, because the answer right now is no. For me, the final player to look at is the silent hero of the top lane. It's a man who always delivers a strong performance. He goes unsung on the side of the Super Hot Crew. It's Mime. He's got the highest KDA in the top lane. He always delivers, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he continues to hold off all of the rest of his opposition.
And if you guys want to track stats for these players and the rest of the LCS, head over to lolesports.com, where you can also watch VODs of the past games, read articles, get team information, and much more. You'll also find the complete schedule where you can vote on who you think will win today's matches.
Yeah, submit your choices and we will check in before each match to see who you guys picked. And you can also visit the tickets link at the top of the page to get seats and come see the European LCS live and in person here in Cologne. Come watch your favorite teams and players and be part of the action right alongside us.
Yeah, you can also join us on Twitter as well. And today we would like you to know, we want to know as well, which European LCS team do you guys think has shown the most consistent teamwork so far and why?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to answer, but I imagine the top of the table.
Probably got to look at the top of the table.
We'll definitely get some favorites. For you guys at home, be sure to send those to us at LOL Esports with the hashtag LCS so we can actually read some of your responses later on in the show.
So, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to get the games underway with our first match of the day between SK Gaming and Fnatic. During the spring split, SK led the head-to-head against Fnatic 3-1. But during the playoffs, Fnatic flipped that around to go 3-1 and, of course, gain first place, taking them to the All-Star game in Paris. Now that we're into the summer split, though, SK Gaming faced Fnatic in the opening game of the season, where Fnatic pushed SK to the limit. They gained a 6k gold lead before SK turned it back around again and secured themselves another win.
Yeah, SK definitely played well in that matchup, and from then on have gotten better and better, especially in the earlier game. And the easiest way to demonstrate SK's strongest starts is to look at how quickly they take advantage of getting the first dragon. Now, the league average for the first dragon is around 12 minutes and 49 seconds. And last week, SK secured an average first dragon time of 10 minutes and 21 seconds by punishing and taking advantage of their strongest starts. The standard laning phases have also played into SK's favor as they're ending games 13 minutes quicker than week 2. One of the only teams in Europe that is ending games quickly. They averaged 27-minute games last week in comparison to 40-minute games in week 2. So a very strong start leading to a very strong finish for one of the table toppers here in Europe.
On the other side of the dice, Fnatic have not been living up to expectations this split. That's the feeling you get when you look at their 4-4 record. But Fnatic are actually mirroring their Season 3 performance, where they started well in the spring, but stumbled at the open in the summer split.
Yeah, that's right, D-Man, because last year, 2013, Fnatic went 7-1 in spring. It's a performance they repeated this year, 2014 spring. They started last year's summer with a record of 4-6, and playing SK in Alliance and being 4-4, they may go 4-6 again. It's an interesting trend when you look at Fnatic, and by the historical statistics, they will pick up the game as we get closer to playoffs. I do want to highlight the carries for Fnatic, starting with Peke in the mid lane. He holds the second highest CS at 10 minutes, the third highest CS at 20 minutes in the game. Reckless shares the exact same accolades, sitting second and third at 10 and 20 minutes. And when you consider that their team's in the middle of the table at 4-4, these two carries are actually punching above their team's placement. The story's not the same for Soaz. He is struggling. He's got the lowest amount of CS at 10 and 20 minutes, which tells me that he's struggling to adapt to this top lane meta, this buddy jungle system, and his negative tweets regarding the teleport, the 1v1s, and his distaste towards the champion pool is backing up those claims. He needs to figure out this meta if he wants to be more relevant.
Well, with SK, of course, demonstrating a stellar level of late-game play compared to the rest of the field, Fnatic's Peke knows how important coming out ahead in the picks and bans will be in this match.
We won the first match against Fnatic, so going into the second one shouldn't be too much trouble.
I guess SK, like any game we played against them, we're not really worried about them. It's mostly about us doing like wrong things in the game.
SK is just this team that doesn't really make mistakes. We have to be focused before the game starts during pick and bans. I think we already have to be really careful then, because the moment they have a strong lineup, we have to play perfect the whole game.
Most of the time we had great early game, but they just like do better rotation than us after laning phase / mid game, and they just capitalize better on mistake than us in mid game.
Sanger is a kind of selfless jungler, so he'll buy like 3 wards on his first base and then delay all his items for like really long time just to ward up for his team and stuff. I'm kind of more like selfish jungler.
We're having a bit of a slow start to the split, like we had always before as well, and I hope we are going to pick it up.
We've been doing okay this split, great start, so yeah, we have a lot of confidence.
We'll see how it goes between these two teams. jungler styles different. We talked about Soaz's stats. He's up against Freddy. It's a big matchup.
It is a big matchup, and I think the junglers are going to be the interesting story considering the patch we're on. But we'll get to that in picks and bans.
So let's check out the starting lineups for these two teams. Over on the blue side, it is SK Gaming. That means that Freddy122 is in the top lane, Svenskeren's in the jungle, Jez is in the mid lane, Candy Panda the AD carry, and then Rated on support.
And on the red side for Fnatic, it is Soaz up top, Cyanide in the jungle, Peke playing mid, Reckless on AD carry, and Yellowstar playing the support role.
So before we begin this game, let's check your predictions out according to lolesports.com. You have voted Fnatic to win this game. 53% though, that is very close.
Performance-wise, that's not the way these teams have been trending, but that's a vote you would not have seen 3 months ago, and that's not a vote that you're seeing very often. These very popular teams starting to fall out of favor with the viewers if they're not delivering.
Yeah, we're starting to see the swing of the old guard. We saw TSM lose a fan vote just the other week. It's crazy.
What is the world coming to?
What is happening in League of Legends?
Just before we jump into picks and bans, it is 4.9 as far as the patch is concerned. Yes. Braum is available, so I'm expecting to see
But we'll be banned.
I'm expecting to see that. And also I think with the changes to Kha'Zix, the no longer damage reduction in his ultimate, I believe the champion pool in the jungle is now limited to Lee Sin, Elise, and Evelyn.
Yeah.
And it's a sentiment that is shared by many of the European junglers. So I'm very excited to see what gets banned by which team and where they're going to emphasize.
Yeah, who has the advantage? We'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. Picks and bans about to get underway for El Clasico. SK Gaming as the blue side up against Fnatic. So first pick and bans coming straight through. LeBlanc and Kassadin removed there. There is the Lulu ban. There's the Braum ban. Surprise, surprise. I will be pretty shocked if we get to see him this week.
I agree with you. The Elise ban followed by SK is what interests me now. Fnatic need to decide, do they ban away Lee Sin, which is Svenskeren's most played champion at 6 games and 5 wins, and they're not going to, instant first pick. But now where does he go for jungler? Fnatic have Nidalee open, they have Nunu available, and they've run a poke sort of comp like that in the past. It is something that I think they'd have to consider.
Fast pick and bans here. Jax was that final ban, as you said. Lee Sin was picked up, of course, Svenskeren on that. 8-2-9, as I mentioned, on against Gambit just last week on that very champion. But Reckless will get his hands on Twitch, the stealth assassin, and of course alongside him will be Morgana for Yellowstar.
So Fnatic have got a lot of options available to them. A lot of mid lane champions are still up. The Ziggs is there, which is a priority. The Nidalee is available if they want to go for it. Soaz has trended towards locking a Trundle in for his top lane pick and pairing it with that Nidalee. It gives you the zone control, it gives you disengage power. But the problem that Fnatic ran into in running those champions against the Super Hot crew is no clear way to make a play happen. They needed to get ahead, they needed to siege with Nidalee, and it wasn't effective enough for them. Super Hot crew ran them down multiple times.
So SK Gaming choosing to basically force Fnatic to make the first move. They've gone with their support and AD carry, which is Lucian Thresh, the most popular combo back in the spring, and of course that forces Fnatic to make the first move with that top laner or mid laner.
Super safe picks from both of these teams. SK have not revealed anything about how they want to play, but they have the ability to make picks, they have the ability to engage and disengage, and they've got Candy Panda on his most played ADC. He's undefeated on Lucian this split. He's got a 12.5 KDA, so it's a very safe pick from them. Fnatic right now have actually gone for a much more heavy engaged sort of flanking composition, and they've got the makings of a split push team for the time being.
So that means we're going to see Soaz on Shyvana. It will be Cyanide, on Evelyn. And we wonder what Freddy is going to play this. He's got Aatrox currently hovered over. It is a champion he's played, and he's played it against Fnatic a few times.
Yes, he has. It's one of Freddy's sort of go-to champions. I think it would be okay because you can trade with Shyvana. We've been seeing a lot of other top laners running Irelia into Shyvana a few times when the match
Kayle as well
has been available.
Out, yeah.
Top lane Kayle was something that was talked about last week.
It was played in career a couple of times.
We've seen it a few times. So the options are there for SK, but I really like the Ziggs because this denies it from Fnatic. Had they got the Ziggs, it would have been safe wave clear. It would have allowed them to get the poke and buy time for Shyvana and Evelyn to find the flank. Fnatic now need to find good, safe wave clear because they don't have it amongst the rest of the champions. If they ever get into a siege situation, they're at a very big disadvantage because none of their champions can deal with that Ziggs harass and poke.
So will it be the Kayle? Will he switch across? Orianna would fit as well, of course, the jump in.
I actually prefer Orianna.
Bombs, yeah, the stealth delivery system, the ball delivery system. We saw it a couple of times last week in the North American LCS working to great effect. And of course, with that Ziggs in there, SK Gaming played it very safe. I'm interested to see how Freddy's going to work. Of course, we heard him last week. 100% record on Renekton. Didn't choose to go with that one. It will be a switch for Peke. He is going to go with Twisted Fate.
So let's quickly highlight the Fnatic comp. They've got the ability to flank for team fights with Evelynn, with Shyvana. But what I do like about their solo lane champions of Shyvana and Twisted Fate, it gives them the option to split push and play the map very effectively. The thing is, Fnatic have to punish Jez's when his Mega Inferno Bomb is down. Because while Fnatic have the tools to play the minion waves in the map, Jez's on Ziggs can clear them very effectively. Neither team has safe engage. You have to land a Lee Sin Q. Shyvana's going to flank from the side. Evelynn's going to come from behind. Aatrox has to, go for a knockup. So when these teams engage, I think it could be very tentative because they have to land a perfect skill shot on the right target. Otherwise, there's no Leona, there's no Vi, there's no clear standard heavy engage that we're used to seeing.
See how this works out, ladies and gentlemen. With the champions now locked in, who do you think has the lineup advantage? Tweet hashtag SKWin or hashtag FNCWin to @LOL Esports, and we'll see who you think came out ahead in just a few moments. I just want to keep my eye on Peke and wait for him to load up to see whether he switched last minute, because he had Cleanse selected there. Flash Cleanse, he has changed it to Flash Ghost, I was going to say.
Ghost Flash on Twisted Fate is your more standard.
Yeah, I was like, why has he got Cleanse? There's nothing really that warrants it.
And this is something that we were discussing internally regarding last week's games. You've got the Shyvana that's going to need some items and wants to become tanky to eventually affect team fights. Evelynn can affect the psychological presence during the laning phase, but again, needs items to be a big relevant matter in team fights. If Peke gets a good Destiny off early on, he can affect his side lanes and accelerate the rate at which Fnatic can gain control. So those very first ultimates out of Peke are going to be game-changing.
That's how it works out for him, of course, because he needs to get some pressure and up against the Ziggs in the mid lane for Jez. It's a champion he knows all too well. Here we go though, ladies and gentlemen. SK Gaming starting out as the blue side up against Fnatic on the red side. The first game of week 4 between these two teams. Last time they met, SK Gaming came out on top despite Fnatic having a very early lead.
We'll have to see how SK handle pulling themselves back into this game. You could argue one of the reasons they pulled themselves back the previous time was the experience gained from the jungle camps. One of the big changes in 4.9 is the bonus experience on jungle monsters from the average level of champions has been removed. So what that means is, as Fnatic were accelerating further and further ahead, SK could farm their jungle up and get larger chunks of experience than Fnatic had because of the fact that average level was higher. That catch-up mechanic or snowball mechanic is no longer available to junglers and teams, so it should even out teams that get very far ahead and obviously prevent teams that are far behind from catching up as quickly.
Well, as we mentioned, we are on 4.9 here. If you have just joined us, this is the first game of the day. It is only a 3-game day as well because, of course, Rocket have got themselves a forfeited victory over the Copenhagen Wolves, unfortunately. However, in this matchup, it doesn't seem... Are we going to have a late invade from Fnatic? They are setting up for it. SK are sitting back, and it's Fnatic that are going for it.
Yeah, it looks like they wanted to try and second-guess Svenskeren on that Lee Sin. You do see Lee's starting at red buff from time to time, but because of a smart ward by SK, they've got full vision and full information of what Fnatic are up to. So it's a safe start for SK in the top half of the map, and it looks to be SK going for a counter invade, but Soaz is on the red buff himself, so this could get scary.
Oh, Soaz is walked straight in towards him. He's going to try and run past with a burnout. Good Flake comes out of N-rated. There's a lot of damage going down, but without the death sentence, Soaz should escape no problem.
Yeah, Svenskeren actually started with that Sonic Wave on his Q, so going to slow down his jungle clear just a tiny bit. He needs to take a little more damage. And there's the fan vote swinging heavily in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah, 76% of you liking what Fnatic have picked up here. Freddy himself is having a few issues with Fnatic as well in this jungle. Svenskeren does manage to come around and get that red buff stolen away.
So something I want to highlight about Freddy locking in the Aatrox. It's a smart pick in the current top lane meta because Aatrox can actually sustain and jungle very effectively. Whenever we look at the top lane matchup, it has evolved from a who does better in 1v2 in CS to now who can sustain in jungle, who can get experience, what's your wave clear, what's your sustain. And Aatrox is a champion that has very high marks in a lot of those regards. He's already got an experience and a CS lead over Soaz, but we need to see how he makes it work, obviously, once they eventually come toe-to-toe.
Yeah, and you can see being gifted a bit of experience. Meanwhile, the buddy system in action here. Cyanide level 3 up against his Soaz, his level 1 still. Meanwhile, Freddy is about to hit level 2, but it's another good invade coming from Fnatic here. Going with that 4-0 push. He's going to keep on the buddy system, keep on pushing. They can only go for the one golem, of course. One was stolen away by Freddy a moment ago.
The question is, what does SK do to respond? They haven't seen Fnatic's members going for the bottom tower. Aatrox is 1.5 miles away, moving with Svenskeren to this bottom tower, and it actually looks like Soaz and Cyanide have gone for the counter jungle route instead of the tower. They're going to catch a low health Freddy. He's in trouble.
Freddy comes in. Freddy can just flash across. That's exactly what he had to do. Peke wasn't quite there, but that was a double summoners used by SK.
Massive advantage to Fnatic because of the fact that Peke, when he has Destiny, is going to have 2 targets that he can try to shut down. Not having Flash on Freddy and Svenskeren is going to limit their aggressive plays and open up opportunities for Fnatic to punish them.
Okay, so we've got a difference in playstyle as well between the duo lanes. You can see down the bottom, you just got a glimpse of it. That tower almost down. Fnatic pushing hard on that one. Meanwhile, the top lane, you can see Candy Pan, he's just freezing the lane out there, holding it still. Hasn't really pushed.
They're going to catch Jesus.
Jesus is going to get caught out. Stun card comes in there. It's a good play from Enrated though. Here comes the teleport. Freddy's going to join this party. Dark Binding does not land. They can turn it back around. Freddy doesn't quite get the knock up in time. 4 members of SK continue to chase. Svenskeren does land the Sonic Wave, but they don't choose to follow on Cyanide.
Ghost and Flash burned by Peke. It looked like Fnatic had caught SK out, but a very quick response by the teleport on Freddy and landing the skill shots by SK counters the play. So no first blood secured, but very strong start by SK. They've been pretty proactive in response to Fnatic, considering the counter jungling Fnatic put down.
You can see, of course, Yellowstar still only at level 2, hasn't been absorbing too much of that experience, and Rated in the meantime has been roaming quite heavily. We just saw him around that mid lane there. He was involved in that mid lane fight. He's leaving Candy Panda all on his own in that top lane. In terms of 280 carriers, they've pretty much unhindered both of them. You can see in terms of farm, both doing very well.
Yeah, but you've already pointed out that Reckless has done a better job at putting damage on that bottom tower. So once Fnatic decide to take the objective down, they will get the experience, the gold, and they'll open up that portion of the map. You touched on Enrated's roaming. This is a trend we have seen from European Thresh players for the last 3 weeks. Threshers are roaming to whichever lane needs more assistance or wants more control. We've been seeing it with top laners. If we look in the mid lane, there are so many members collapsing. SK are looking for a fight here.
There's a party going down, and Jez is happy to keep throwing out those bombs towards them. Satchel charges away from Yellowstar. Dark Binding comes out. Lantern was thrown, wasn't required. And SK going for the invade, taking away the Wraiths and keeping Fnatic on their toes here in this mid lane.
Yeah, the question is, how much does it hurt Fnatic in the bigger picture? You compare levels in the top laners and junglers, they're even. 80 carries are the same, supports are the same. So even with SK roaming and moving around the map, they're not losing out on CS, they're not losing out on experience, and it's actually Peke that's falling behind. Because of how much time Enrated's been in mid, he's losing out on CS, and it looks like they've caught Freddy. He's just going to dark flight to safety.
Yeah, just jumps away from that one. No problems there. As you mentioned, Peke falling behind a little bit. It's a 17 CS differential right now between Jesus and Peke, so it's a big start. And this is what I talked about with Twisted Fate. As soon as he selected it, he was up against the Ziggs. He's going to be pressured in the lane, and that Destiny is going to be tricky to use when the minions keep pounding on your turret.
Yeah, Kerp in particular, his Ziggs play can 1v1 most Twisted Fates that we've seen. Very good reaction timing from Yellowstar on that Black Shield. But I think, you know, it's always a difficult matchup early on. Once Peke gets some more items and gets some more wave clear power under his belt, he can counter push Ziggs back and obviously can also impact those side lanes through the use of Destiny. But the question is, who pulls the trigger first? Right now, Fnatic, they've showed a very clear focus on shutting down the red buff of SK Gaming. There's multiple members moving to this bottom half of the map.
Yeah, good ward placement from SK there. Gave Vision well ahead of time for that one down the bottom. That means Freddy will not get caught out. Red buff has spawned. We could see a smite fight between the two junglers here. Cyanide is lingering off the side there. We do see just coming around the side. Yellowstar joins him. Yellowstar gets hooked in with a death sentence, so tries to slam on towards him. But now Fnatic are going to turn this one around. Peke comes in. Mega Inferno Bomb lands. That is going to be Reckless with the first kill there on towards Svenskeren.
Very well played by Fnatic. They had SK on the back foot. Even though SK landed the death sentence on Yellowstar, Fnatic had more members available, and the Destiny from Twisted Fate was very, very impactful. in that game. Landing the CC, so red buff stolen, first blood secured, and a dragon. That is a very big swing of control, which is actually somewhat reminiscent of what Fnatic did against SK in the very first game of the summer split 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we heard Soaz talking about it. They need to be more decisive in when they make these plays, get the kills off the back, need to move in, take a advantage, and that's exactly what they've just done. See if they can keep it up though, because this is only the early game. This is where SK generally always fall behind. I mean, last week was the first time they started to turn it around. And again, you know they're a strong force in the mid game. The fact that they've got a Ziggs in there, in Froggen's own words, he was surprised they managed to beat a Ziggs inside 40 minutes. This could be a long one.
I completely agree. And not only because of Ziggs and, of course, Twisted Fate for the defensive capabilities, but also because neither team necessarily has the strongest engage. If Soaz and Cyanide are revealed, if SK have got good warding, it means the flanking opportunities are reduced by Fnatic. So the onus is on SK to make sure they have proper warding and make sure they have the information to work with. Now, this is a 3v2 in the top lane, but Enrated misses the death sentence and nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, Cyanide is making his way up. Doesn't look like he's needed, as you mentioned. It was a 3v2. They had the number advantage. SK going to continue putting the pressure on. Destiny is not available for Peke, but of course he's being held prisoner in the mid lane by Destiny.
So I do want to highlight the fact that Enrated has played 3 games in a row now on Thresh, and he's definitely improving since the spring split performances. Oh, that's the culling being thrown down just onto Yellowstar for poke. Sven setting himself up to the mid lane. So SK, they're trying to find something, trying to find an opportunity. SK maybe feeling the pressure of losing that first blood in the dragon. Candy Panda gets away with his life. That was close. You can see Sven, he wants to make something happen. He hasn't been as dominant as he was against Gambit last week, and it's because Fnatic have been invading the jungle. Fnatic have forced SK to respond to Fnatic's movements, and because they're dictating the tempo, they're keeping control of the game. I do feel if they let up, SK have the tools, they have the death sentence, they have the Aatrox, they have the Lee that can regain control and force Fnatic onto the back foot.
And of course, Freddy, with his passive, his Bloodwell, he should be able to 1v1 up against Reckless for a fair period of time here. Of course, it gives him that safety net once that Blade of the Rune King is built.
Yeah, there's a 2-level deficit though. So theoretically, from a stats perspective, I would probably agree. There's a knock-up, a slow, Freddy's got built-in sustain.
At the moment, there's a big difference.
But yes,
but coming late game,
2 levels between them is a very big problem, and the item difference. I mean, you know, if you compare Reckless, he's got that Bilgewater Cutlass, he's got his Berserker's Greaves. He's playing a bit safe, a bit risky. There's not enough wards from Fnatic to be pushing that deep, but for the moment, there's full vision on the rest of SK. So we need to see if he gets punished like he was last week.
Yeah, when that Blade of the Rune King gets complete, both of them probably will go for it as well. We'll see Freddy, I'm absolutely certain he will head towards it. Gone for Longsword. Hasn't gone for his traditional triple Doran's Blade, but then again, he's not on the traditional champion right now. Top lane pressure still on Soel, still being forced back, which is giving Freddy a little advantage. We keep seeing Yellowstar constantly paying visits to this mid lane. Wants to land that Dark Binding, wants to get the kills on Jesus to slow him down.
Yeah, the problem is the defensive capabilities from SK are still very strong. Oh, Reckless with a cheeky Golem steal. So the only tower that's gone down has been in this bottom lane. And Fnatic, they're diving Freddy. Look at the support they've got from both Evelynn as well as Yellowstar. If a Dark Binding connects, which it doesn't, Freddy is going to be in trouble, but I think he can Dark Flight to safety.
Side steps in, like I mentioned, he has got the Bloodwell still up, but look at this, SK Gaming, 4 members in the mid lane. Peke taking a fair burst from the culling there. The rest of his team are collapsing in and around SK Gaming. Can they get in towards him? Cyanide puts the ulti, lands on 4 members there, and Rated will be the focus target. He's the lowest. Svenskeren gets caught with the Dark Binding. There's the Mega Inferno bomb coming out. It's going to hook on towards Soaz, takes a tower hit. Ignite running, but he should be safe, and everybody so far is alive. Reckless trying to get some rat-a-tat-tat damage down on towards it. Freddy's going to teleport in, but as you mentioned, he's only level 7 right now. He's simply doing defensive duties. SK Gaming trying to go aggressive, got forced back by Fnatic.
If SK Gaming didn't have all of the summoners that they actually have available, they would have gone down. Look down the left-hand side of your screen. Every flash, every heal, exhaust, everything was burned. And SK, I think, were a little lucky to come away from that one. A perfect flank from both Cyanide and Soaz, hitting multiple members of SK, and that was a very, very good positional play out of Fnatic. They didn't hesitate, and they responded quickly by having the members in the middle lane while drawing SK into their own turret. They managed to make the play work. Destiny's available for Peke, so let's see if he's going to use it. He may be the one that's in a little bit of trouble now from SK.
Takes a bouncing bomb, has the Satchel charge away from Yellowstar, didn't throw out that Dart Binding, will absorb some of that damage. Peke can avoid that death sentence. We also saw Freddy in that top lane. Remember, he's already used the teleport, just used his ulti as well to keep Soaz at bay. Soaz doesn't have teleport either, so this is going to be a 4v4 engage if they go for it. Sidon and Yellowstar looking to steal the red.
Yeah, there's something more interesting. Fnatic have got 4 sweepers and a blue trinket. They want to be in SK's space like they're doing now.
Reckless and Rated in all sorts of trouble. That's going to be Peke that manages to secure that kill away from Reckless.
So the point that I'm trying to make, with 4 sweeping lenses and the scrying orb, Fnatic wants to constantly be in SK's jungle, constantly be denying vision, and forcing SK into risky moves. If they can keep making SK, jump in their face or move through the jungle unsafe, it opens up Peke and his Destiny ganks to make even bigger, even flashier plays. So I think it's very smart from Fnatic, but we need to see if they can keep this level of aggression. It's not something we've seen them do at all this split.
Roaming abilities that Twitch offers you is actually opening up avenues for Peke to start looking for kills, and that's exactly what is working out for him. 1-0-1 currently ahead now in CS, and that's a big difference because he fell, 17 CS behind it in the early game, but he's managed to gain that ground up. Pink ward being cleared by Enrated, almost got caught out again there. You can see Fnatic were gathering, but with the Dragon alive, this is going to be the fight they're looking for.
Yeah, now Enrated still does not have access to the box because he's been roaming a little more and has not been sitting in a lane by himself. He doesn't have access to his ultimate, whereas Yellowstar does with those Soul Shackles. Teleport is not up for Freddy either, and you see Soaz coming down. So Fnatic instantly with a numbers advantage and the level advantage for the following team fights.
Candy Panda caught out there. They didn't decide to go for it, but there's going to be the Destiny. Peke is deep though. The rest of his team haven't really followed through on this one. Mega Inferno Bomb comes in. The death sentence lands, but it doesn't matter. The damage is there. SK Gaming haven't quite got enough to rattle them down, and Fnatic come out with 2 kills. Very lucky, I feel, there. Peke and Yellowstar so low, but they get the kills.
5 versus 4, and there was no top laner from SK Gaming, so Fnatic were always going to have an advantage. Sven does have Smite available. He's looking for it. We'll see if he's going to go.
He's going to land the Sonic Wave. He's going to run out. He's going to have to go any second. Now he's left it too late. Yeah, that's going to be the Dragon. So, Tower was picked up by Freddy in that top lane. It wasn't all lost for SK, but it's a good turnaround once again. More kills and another Dragon.
This is what we talked about in the pregame. Fnatic have the ability to play the map, and they can they can play like a split push game. But they knew that Freddy had used his teleport, and they punished him for it. Look at your minimap. So many members of Fnatic coming from multiple angles. It's actually very difficult to pull off this sort of pincer type of move, because if SK had got all the damage down into Yellowstar, instead of playing a retreat game, they could have killed him. But they didn't, and even though Peke was hooked, they'd already killed Candy Panda, so no more bombs, no more auto attacks. Fnatic get away from it.
And I'd also question that Mega Inferno Bomb. It went directly up to Peke. Yeah, if it just gone a couple of centimeters to the right-hand side, it would have been on 4 members of Fnatic. Could even picked up a kills, could even turn that fight around. Wasn't quite on point though. Enrated and Yellowstar once again going at it. Another Dart Binding lands. Yellowstar starting to find his eye on them, starting to put the damage down. Reckless. And look at this, the rest of Fnatic all moving in towards the top there. Freddy has to back out.
This has to be the 5th or the 6th time that Fnatic have grouped up to invade SK's jungle. Enrated can't even, get his wards down because there's 4 sweeping lenses on the side of Fnatic. They've got a numbers advantage in the top lane, and it does look like they may make a move on the tower, but keep your eyes on Candy Panda. He's pushing the bottom lane as well. So SK even on towers, but they are 4,000 gold down.
Destiny used. That's going to be Peke coming down to the bottom. Purely defensive Destiny this time around. Will wipe out those minions there. Candy Panda fancies putting some damage down. It's a good turret trade, but 2 turret hits is not exactly what Candy Panda wanted there.
No, it really wasn't. Uncharacteristic misplay from Candy Panda, putting himself in turret range and eating that gold card. It was very apparent that Peke was looking for it. Good pink ward place there by SK. Actually, Reckless ran straight past it. Didn't manage to clear it out. It looks like Soaz is going to miss it as well. So SK with a good vision game. And if you look at the wards, they also have better vision in the northern half of the map. They have to. SK have been defending the onslaught from Fnatic this entire match, and they can't afford to let up in the vision game, because Fnatic will just keep punishing with those flanks from Shyvana, with the teleport to the Destinies from Peke.
Speaking of punishment, that top lane may start to become a problem. We've seen Aatrox, if he can goes strong, if he can get a lot of farm, he can be a beast. He's now built up a 30 CS differential over SOAS, but of course SOAS has got a kill, has got 2 assists, has got the 2 dragons all on his side, which is just about keeping him in there in terms of gold. He is a level behind Candy Panda in this bottom lane. He's being flanked by 2 stealth assassins.
This is going to be so scary for Candy Panda. He does have flash, he does have heal, but I think it's too late. Here comes Reckless, here comes Cyanide.
And a catch on towards him, Bladed Rune King, insta-pop, rat-a-tat-tat comes down. No doubt about that kill.
Rat-a-tat-tat, that's that, and that's a dead Candy Panda. He didn't have the vision in the bottom half of the map. SK had all of the wards in the top half, and Candy Panda is the one that's pushing completely blind. That was just risky. Jesus is now trying to get zone control in this bottom lane, but when Reckless is 3-0-2 on Twitch and he can assassinate 4 very squishy champions, this is a scary place for SK Gaming.
Well, we just saw the top lane. We got a brief glimpse of it there. SOAS having to back away. He can't trade with Freddy. He's now 2 levels behind in that top lane. Freddy continuing to push on the top tower. Meanwhile, Cyanide in the jungle. Once again, Reckless looking for another kill. Gold card comes out and Rated goes down. Reckless on a mission now, 4-0-2.
So much vision and so much presence. Fnatic have spent most of their time in SK's jungle, and this is very confident play from them. It's going to allow them a potential siege in this mid lane, but keep in mind the defensive power from SK and the type of composition Fnatic has, they don't necessarily want to tower dive. They want to find a pick, they want to get kills in the jungle, and then take uncontested objectives. For the time being, SK have defended their outer turrets, mostly because Fnatic haven't actually looked to really siege them out.
Yeah, still just that one bottom turret that went very early on for Fnatic, and of course the top one that Freddy's worked himself down. Look at the goal between them though, you can see it's actually SOAS in the lead, as I thought, because of those global objectives. He has managed to get himself level 10, is continuing to push a big wave. Mid lane, we see the trade between these two. Big advantage picked up by Peke now, 2,000 gold over Jesus.
Yeah, he's farming well, he's got more objectives under his belt, and of course the Twisted Fate passive for gold. So we'll keep our eyes on this Freddy versus SOAS duel. But I do want to mirror the fact that in game 1 of the split, Fnatic had a 6,000 gold lead, and it was thanks to SK's ability to find picks under towers and responding to Fnatic's pressure in that game that allowed them to win. It was also SOAS with some questionable plays. He was caught out in the top lane. Right now, SK are being flanked, and we'll see if Fnatic can do anything.
Dark Binding doesn't land, Mega Inferno Bomb misses, Jesus goes down, it's another great flanking move. Yellowstar though gets caught out, hooked him to the tower. Rat-a-tat-tat running from Reckless, not going to get the mark this time around. Freddy comes into for defensive duties, probably wasn't needed, but Fnatic again come out, get a kill.
Yeah, Fnatic get the kill. They do trade 1-for-1. Kill lands in Candy Panda shoes, which is very important. But what SK failed to do in that situation was keep Jesus going the same direction. He tried to pull members of Fnatic away from him towards the river. Got punished for it. There's also a teleport down from Freddy. So Fnatic can now leave SOAS to try and farm up that top lane and try and make up the CS deficit that he's fallen behind. And we'll see if it actually comes to benefit Fnatic.
Dragon due in 15 seconds. We'll see who sets up for that one. It seems, of course, with SOAS up there, has got that flash teleport available if he wants to join in. Meanwhile, Fnatic, they want to get this middle turret down. That would be a big advantage to make their move on this Dragon.
And that all stems from the kill that they had earlier. They get about 30 to 40% of the tower damage off, and I really feel that if Fnatic do not find picks, they can't challenge for those objectives. Previously, in the 5v4, they got Dragon, now they got Jesus again.
Jesus caught out, Satchel charges away, but quickly gets caught up. Now Freddy locked up by another great Dark Binding. The Lantern used, but surely that means it's another Dragon for Fnatic.
It has to be, because Dragons respawn, Fnatic have had absolute control of it. Not only are they going to get the Dragon in a few minutes, the middle turret goes down, SOAS is going to get the top turret. This is all stemming from that fight in the mid lane where they baited Freddy to use his teleport. Fnatic are just in absolute control, and there's very little SK can do other than putting more wards up and not being caught. They've been caught so many times already.
Big gold difference. This time around, 8,000 gold. Surely they can't mess this one up this time around. Fnatic have a good advantage. 22 minutes into this game, looking strong so far. That mid lane Peke has been roaming around, and it's all been because of this man, honestly, Reckless. He's been looking for those kills and getting them. 90+% kill participation with his 4-0-3, been involved in almost every move that Fnatic have made.
Yeah, if memory serves, last week Reckless was 0-3-0-4 at one point. On Twitch against the Twisted Fate. He had been punished a lot. And this particular game, he's not been under the same pick pressure. So he's been able to roam. He's only a little bit of CS behind Candy Panda, but it doesn't matter when he's got 4 kills. Static Shiv completed. Blade of the Rune King, he's almost got a last Whisper. Fnatic now have the toughest job. What they've been doing in terms of the jungle invades to get the outer turrets is easier than doing the same thing on the inner line of turrets because there's less space between SK's base and the objectives. Reckless is stealthed up and he's looking for another kill. I think he might get it.
He may get on towards Enrated. He's trying to get away with that shield. There's Reckless. He has the damage now. That's a big, big problem building for SK.
He didn't even use his Blade of the Ruined King. That was just all too easy with the amount of damage he's built up. There's no teleport on Freddy, so Freddy's going to need to back away and come to defend this middle lane. Fnatic looking like they're going to back away. They need to kill Jesus if they want the tower.
Well, the one big thing, of course, with the Ziggs, you do have fantastic wave clear. Teleport being used by Soaz has to defend out this top turret for Freddy.
Yeah, so Soaz now without his teleport means Fnatic may go into a slightly more passive period of play because they're not going to have Soaz who can respond instantly. And in order for Fnatic to break this inner line of turrets, they need to have very deep vision, and ideally, they need to catch Fnatic on an aggressive push. Last time SK pushed middle lane, Fnatic punished with a flawless flank. And if SK do the same thing without the correct deep vision, they will get punished again. Look at Fnatic's positioning. They're setting themselves up for another engage. Soaz coming from River, and there's Destiny as well.
Where's he going to go with it? Goes straight in. Mega Inferno Bomb this time does land, but Jesus gets caught out again. Another fantastic control, really. The Destiny landing on towards them. Cyanide sidesteps the cull in there. SK Gaming can't seem to manage their damage in the right target. They're splitting across. Freddy once again gets himself down there, but again, not in the right place at the right time. And Jesus, he is being picked on right now in that mid lane.
There is no hesitation from Fnatic at all. Every single time the opportunity presents itself, they are punishing. And I think Soaz, even though he's down on CS, he has been in exactly the right place his team has needed him. Now SK blue buff is up. Sven, you're in trouble, my friend.
Puts a ping ward down. He was ready for it. Don't think he was ready for the two of them, though. There's going to be the lantern. They're going to try and turn this one back around. Freddy, meanwhile, is caught out with the Dark Binding. The chain CC is fantastic so far from Fnatic.
They're landing all of the abilities they need to, and SK managed to defend their blue buff. That's actually very, very important for them. Jesus has respawned. He should get in range to take this one down. And this is going to, again, just put a slight stall on Fnatic's play. The reason they were able to punish SK in the mid lane a few minutes ago is because of Soaz reading the situation well, moving down even without teleport, and again, no hesitation. But Soaz on defensive duty, he's holding off as many objectives as possible. And Fnatic, without kills, can't break those inner turrets. But they've done a phenomenal job of dictating the tempo and pushing SK to the absolute limits.
Thing is, while it is 10-1 in terms of kills and a big gold advantage, still 8,000 gold, SK still have. The bottom turret will go down very quickly. The top inner turret will go down very quickly. There's money in the bank already there, whereas Fnatic, they're getting these picks, they're making these plays, but they're struggling to make a dent now that those 8 turrets start to go down.
The thing is, it would be the same shoe on the other foot. Even if SK were to get those objectives and Fnatic were to group up for a defense, SK run the risk, if they don't know where Cyanide is, he'll just come in from behind them. He'll come in from the side and punish them. Peke, with the Hourglass and the makings of a Death Cap, he's got an incredible wave clear. So SK are looking in a similar position to find these picks, but because they're so far behind, they need to be 100% certain before they engage. Because of the fact that they're 10k down, 9k down, if they make one misplay, it will cost them inner turrets and maybe inhibitor turrets as well.
Well, we can see Freddy starting to get some of that tankiness built up, and the Zoma will be coming out very soon. Meanwhile, so as his counterpart, you can see full tank build, no problem there. Going to be the man that throws himself into the team fights. Freddy in that mid lane trying to put some pressure down, but not really creating anything at the moment because Fnatic have spread across the map. They've gone with pretty much one in the top, one in the bottom, two in the mid, quite easily jungling. They have full control of the map right now.
It's what we expected from them. And the problem that SK have, they don't know where Twitch or Evelyn could be if they don't have those pink wards down, which means if SK ever want to engage on Siobhan in the bottom lane, They know Twisted Fate with Destiny could engage. They don't know where Evelyn is. They don't know where Twitch is. So it means that SK have a difficult time of dealing with the split pushes of Fnatic because they have so many more factors to put into the equation. Cyanide again, looking for another flank. Soaz could come in from behind the turret. Fnatic, I think they want another fight.
Cyanide looking to come around, but he's going to get spotted a little bit too early this time around. The Dark Binding does land, but it's only on Rated. There's going to be the dead sentence. Soaz comes around the side end. Rated will go down. It's Reckless with yet another. Soaz tanking out the turret again. Look at the map. Freddy on the top lane, not with his team. He may get the turret though, so it's an objective for death.
Objective for death is something SK will be happy about, and I wasn't anticipating Fnatic to go for that confident of a tower dive. Props to Sven Skeren. He interrupted the Dragon's descent. It's not over. Bye, Jesus.
Jez is going to go down here. He's getting sidestepped around the side there. Flash is out. They managed to turn it back around. Peke goes down. He will eventually die. And now Candy Panda's in trouble. He needs the help from his top laner, who is also backing away. Candy Panda's rushing away from this one. He's got a lot of damage. He's still got that Triforce and Bloodthirster. May be able to dash out of the danger here. Cyanide collapsing around. Cyanide's got to be careful. Doesn't manage to land the double tap. Will just dash through to the Baron pit.
So he manages to get away with his life. The rest of Fnatic are trying to push through the middle lane. The trade ends up being a 2-for-1. Very importantly, the bonus gold from Peke's killing spree has gone over to SK, so it's going to start closing that gold gap. But I think Fnatic are looking to grab themselves another uncontested dragon. Props to Jesus as well. He did flash into the middle of the fight. Peke tried that sort of Messiah-style move, Destiny instant hourglass, and SK just collapsed on him like a ton of bricks. Managed to grab their second kill of the game, but it is still a very grim situation for SK Gaming. They are far from looking like they can turn this control around, but Fnatic are now in a position Super Hot Crew were last week, 2 weeks ago. Fnatic need to find those kills deeper in the jungle to get on the inhib turrets, because barring that previous tower dive, Fnatic have actually not touched an inner turret for a very long time.
Yeah, they've not really got any damage on it whatsoever. Despite the fact they've been focusing Jesus so hard, they're taking away that wave clear, they haven't been able to put pressure on. Now that Freddy's taking down that top inner turret, he'll probably rotate around in the moment. He's going to cover off Soaz, and then of course that bottom outer turret. Very low on health already, which we see Reckless going down there. He's going to get himself that wave clear in. So Fnatic are in the driving seat, but SK do not count them out. Late game is where they excel, despite the fact they're 11,000 gold behind. These tight fights are very, very close, and Rated dead.
Well, here comes Destiny. I think he's right.
Yeah, not getting out of that one.
So that was the problem we talked about. Shyvana was split pushing top. Oh, Yellowstar might go down as well.
Oh, they're going to try and catch on towards him. Now Sven Skeren and Candy Panda trying to make some plays there. Freddy's also coming around the side, but this is all leaving the bottom lane open to Reckless, who's just continuing to push.
So this is the power of Fnatic's comp. The moment SK tried to deal with Soaz in that split push, Evelyn comes out of the sideline, Destiny is used. What it does mean is that SK, if they are feeling confident, they can make an aggressive play on Fnatic, knowing that that ability is no longer available to them. Candy Pana's trying to deal with Reckless in the bottom lane. We'll see who gets this blue buff. It does go to Jez's. So good blue buff control. The previous two have gone to SK Gaming, and they've pushed Fnatic away, which just means Jez can continue to wave clear and defend.
Close your eyes if you've got M-rated on your fancy team. 061 is not going very much his way so far. SK feeling confident, clearing out that mid lane. They don't want to push too far past the river though. You can see Reckless rejoining his team, but they are all starting to back off, spend some of that well-earned gold. Double Randy and Zoma now stacked in, Soaz and Cyanide stacking them. And you talked about earlier, of course, the Death Cap, and Zonya's now completed for Peke along with that Beams, which he started out with. Reckless, he's a monster, 606. Blade of the Rune King, Static Shiv, Last Whisper, and it looks like an Infinity Edge is going to get stacked on top of that.
This is my favorite game that I've seen Fnatic play all split long, because from the 12th minute, they had that Scrying Orb and they had 4 sweeping lenses. They have been playing the map exquisitely. They have denied and strangled every resource SK have had. And the moment SK have made any play, pushing a tower or looking to go challenge Dragon, Fnatic have been ruthless in their initiations. The problem is, their comp does very well when they have space to work with. And as they are funneling more and more and more towards SK's base, closer to those inhibitor turrets, they have less tools to play with. They have less space to find those flanks. Soaz has bitten off more than...
Soaz caught out, kicked straight back into SK. He doesn't manage to land the death sentence. The play is there, and they quickly realize they're in trouble. Freddy, meanwhile, he's been caught out. He's trying to interrupt this Baron. He gets around the side, but the Baron is continuing. You can see Cyanide and Reckless double teaming this one. The rest of SK Gaming to close it in. Remember, the Mega Inferno Bomb, if they're stuck in that pit, is a danger. They've all seen Kurt making that play. Freddy caught with the Dark Binding. SK forced them out.
So Fnatic again forcing SK's hand. Had Svenskeren not kicked Soaz away from the death sentence, may have been a kill. Reckless is looking for it right.
Oh, is he going to get caught out? No! That's going to be the Zhonya's. Is it enough? Peke's going to come out of this one. The culling is bad from SK. It doesn't quite land in the right place. Peke does get rated down. Freddy's Bloodwell pops. Now he's going to go down as well. That's surely the Baron for Fnatic.
That's going to be the Baron. They do still have to deal with the poke of Jesus, but he's on such low HP. We didn't see Peke teleporting behind the SK members, using that Zhonya's Hourglass just perfectly. It's not over yet. Candy Panda's got a lot of HP, but they've caught him.
Has the dash away, gets caught with the stun, and just look at the damage going raining down on towards him. Jez is off the side though, he's taken Fnatic low. This is still a dangerous Baron, and they realize it. They're going to have to sidestep here. Svenskeren trying to keep Vision away. It stopped Fnatic doing Baron for now.
So that's actually still a trade that SK will be happy with. They lost Candy Panda, but they prevented Fnatic getting the Baron. Fnatic, all in all, grab themselves 3 kills, and they force SK's hand. Because Fnatic can no longer push down the waves and catch SK out of position in the lanes, they force SK to come to them. They start Baron, they bait, they reel SK Gaming in, and then they just peel and punish. Destiny is going to be available very soon. Peke is using it absolutely perfectly, and it is allowing Fnatic just all of the room in the world to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Remember, Fnatic has some tough games this week. SK Gaming chasing Alliance at the top of the table will not want to lose this match because they're going to fall maybe some ground to them. At the moment, it is Fnatic in full control, though. Look at the gold. You can see giant advantage to Fnatic in that 17-2 kill count, which everybody playing solo queue would absolutely love to see. And Rated caught out this time around. Yellowstar uses his ulti, but nobody's going to follow up. Here comes Peke. Peke gets locked in. Jesus goes down. Mega Inferno Bomb hits absolutely nothing. And that is SK getting wiped off the map. Svenskeren again locked up. Peke does go down. It is a 1-for-1 trade, and you got to wonder how the hell N-Rated got out of that one. Svenskeren absolutely will not get out of it. That is the Baron. Jungler's down.
Yeah, 8-0, not only Baron, but the only member that can really interrupt SK being that Ziggs, just means that Fnatic are going to secure themselves another massive objective. With the Baron buff, I think they're going to be confident enough to tower dive with the massive gold lead that they built up. And again, SK just out of position. I mean, they were moving up the middle lane. They weren't even really past their river. And Fnatic just pounce and punish them. SK finally going to touch a dragon. This should go to them before Fnatic can get there, but it is a minute victory considering how far down they are. And again, it's just all about Fnatic. I don't think I've seen the team responding so quickly to weakness or to opportunity as they have today.
Well, as you mentioned, first dragon of the game for SK does give them a little bit of gold, but you can see it's going to be that turret going down. Jez is not going to be able to clear this one. He can't get too close to it. There's too many stealth champions. Or are they? Freddy comes in. Teleport used. It does mean that tower will get defended for now, but remember, a Baron up Fnatic is a problem. Blue buff has been fought over a number of times. Jez will not want to let this one go. It's so important to that Mega Inferno Bomb cooldown. Soaz at the side, though, is going to pull it away.
Yeah, so first time that Fnatic have got this blue buff in about 12 to 14 minutes. They were unable to secure the previous, even though they attempted to go for it. But you know what? I think they're happy. If you look at these item thresholds, Randian's Banshee, Sunfire on Soaz, he's got no damage, but he doesn't need damage because Cyanide, Peke, and Reckless are just so far ahead. They can close the game out. As long as Soaz is running amok and keeping SK sort of peeled and disorganized by those flanks, by those Dragon's Descents, then Reckless is going to melt them. Static Shiv, IE, and Phantom Dancer, there is nobody on SK that can really contain him unless they have a numbers advantage. And, you know, Fnatic may even die Freddy here.
Yeah, Freddy's in trouble. He needs to back away. Bloodwell is back up, but the rest of Fnatic are closing the gap. Dead Sentence thrown out does not land. Cyanide was covered off by Candy Panda and N-Rated. But again, Fnatic get themselves another turret, the 4th on the board. Still equal with SK in terms of turrets, but with this Baron, they're starting to create advantages.
Yeah, Freddy wasn't able to defend alone. You need the wave clear of Jez's in order to hold these towers. And the moment Jez's exposes himself or puts himself in a lane, Fnatic just throw everything they can at it. The moment Jesus goes down, SK will be completely unable to defend a tower. You can, of course, say the Culling can hold off for at least one wave, but generally, he is the key to Fnatic getting deeper on SK's jungle.
Skynope used the Wraith blocking out that Dark Binding, which almost certainly could have led to a kill as Reckless was ready to pile on in. Bottom lane turret is the next focus target. Fnatic roaming on down towards that one. SK Gaming a little slow to react here, holding off the mid and not being persuaded just yet.
Yeah, and the problem as well, because SK have got very limited deep vision, even if they go through their own jungle, they need to be so careful. You see Freddy split away from the team. Jesus and Candy Panda, you know, they're in mid lane, so if Fnatic were to just really go hard in this bottom end of turret, they could get it without an SK carry being there to defend. It looks like that's the plan.
Well, Svenskeren and Rated and Freddy are in defensive duties. Freddy will clear out those minions, but Soaz is just tanking it out. Now that Reckless is with them, the rest of SK have to rotate around. It's leaving Peke in the mid lane, but of course, Destiny is up. Baron buffer's run out now for Fnatic, but they still have the presence, the pressure to keep on pushing. Soaz happy to tank that one out. We do see the Black Shield stopping out that death sentence, and Fnatic just walk on through, and suddenly the wave clear is not an issue. They can tank the turrets.
Yeah, they're going to be able to. The Baron's actually got about a minute left before it does timeout, and that's given Fnatic the confidence. They haven't sieged or they haven't been on the towers until they've got this objective. If you look at the bouncy bomb, that's still good damage on Reckless, but they need multiple. They need Lee, Aatrox, and Ziggs to get on Reckless at the same time. And while they commit to that, it will allow Fnatic to get the inner turret in the mid lane, which is now where they're turning their attention.
Don't step around the outside of your base because there's many members of Fnatic waiting. Soaz happy to just tank down this turret. He's got a lot of damage now. Of course, that Bilgewater Cutlass on there. This middle wave clear is not really working out. And again, it's another turret. This time around, Reckless tanking that one down. Soaz does step away eventually. That mid lane, bottom inhib turret will not go down.
No, the Fnatic now... who am I kidding? Fnatic have been in complete control this entire game. They have denied SK every single resource that they've tried to secure, and barring a few blue buffs, which SK grabbed in the mid game, Fnatic have just strangled the life out of them. Now, in terms of getting over the final hurdle, in terms of actually winning this game, Fnatic need to pull SK to multiple lanes. If they can have Soaz forcing the bottom or the top lane and allow the rest of Fnatic to siege up the middle, use the poke that they've got from Twisted Fate and maybe the Lich Bane, which he has got. It'll work out, and we'll see if Rated is going to die.
And Rated, Candy Panda, everyone caught out in the mid lane. Candy Panda does get away. Svenskeren to the back. He can safeguard to Enrated, and they do manage to avoid the danger this time around, but that was another flash heal burn for Candy Panda, but it's enough to keep him safe. Yeah. Freddy comes in defensive duties, and Peke with that Lich Bane now built up, doing yet more damage to those turrets. This is going to be tough for SK to defend.
That was the flash, the heal, and the exhaust burn from SK Gaming. So once Fnatic get their ultimates available, it won't take too much longer. They will be able to just reinitiate that fight, get the kills, and then go for those objectives. So Fnatic opting to look for picks before they look to split push. And I guess that is also smart, because if you do go for that split push, you open yourself up to SK finding a death sentence or a sonic wave type of play that could give them kills and maybe break that 8-0-8 killing spree that Reckless has built up. Soaz is on a killing spree of himself. There's a lot of bonus gold to be had if SK can make the kills happen.
And of course, Peke 100% confident to go in with that Zhonya's Hourglass on him now. No doubt he can just go and do the damage. There's the Lich Bane getting him the blue buff with the help of Cyanide. Mid lane waves continue being cleared. This is down to Fnatic to try and break the siege now.
Yeah, it really is. And Fnatic with a GA on Cyanide and just the ridiculous amount of tank stats that Soaz has built up have got the ability to tower dive as well. I mean, Soaz on Shyvana has got 298 armor before he goes into Dragon's Descent form. He's got himself a Bilgewater Cutlass. He's going to get his Blade of the Ruined King. So if he jumps onto Candy Panda, he's actually going to be able to run down Candy Panda, zone him from a fight, and deal with him 1v1. So Fnatic, 20,000 gold in the lead. 40 minutes, they've got a Baron to their name. It should be respawning in the next minute or two. It looks like they're going to be maybe playing another Baron, but it's actually 30 seconds before Baron is playing.
Well, you know, if you're in the fantasy and of course have Fnatic in your team and you're looking at these stats, you'll be happy for this game to keep on continuing, just like I am against Freak. Yellowstar doing a fantastic job for me there, and Fnatic as well as a team. But overall, Fnatic, they've just been in full control. This is what we talked about. SK so often struggle in the early game, but generally manage to reel it back in. But because they got caught out, assassinated so many times, it's just not happened this time around. Baron respawned, Fnatic are in position to go for it.
Really concerted effort to control from the laning phase. Once Fnatic got those kills, they used the champions to continue to invade. Baron is available, SK are a little split up and they're so far down on gold, they can't afford to get caught. It looks like Fnatic, they have the option to go for an engage. Soaz is not the man you want.
No, you don't want a death sentence on there. Freddy's trying desperately to pull anyone towards him. That's some good damage on Reckless. Gets kicked straight back in towards it. Reckless goes down. Freddy now going to get focused on towards it. He do manage to see that's going to be a kill on towards Jezz. Jezz is going to get locked out. Cyno's next focused in. Cyno's got that GA. It's going to get popped out there and rated low. Peke's going to come back around the side. He's back in there. Freddy pounces on towards him. Blood well used. The rest of his team are needed to come around here, or he's just going to be the sacrificial lamb. I don't understand why they're not chasing him down. Why were they not helping Freddy out?
Sven was too low on HP. Had he been there, he would have gone down as well. Unfortunately, because of the indecisiveness, Candy Pan is going to drop. That is a 1 for 4. And if Xpeke had not dived the backline for Jezz so hard, that could have been very, very different. Jezz was forced away from the fight, as was Peke. But SK putting up a strong team fight, considering they are 20,000 gold down. Pay very careful attention to how Peke is going to use his Destiny to go for Jezz's, and this is just going to become this cluster of 4v4, and you know, them focusing each other out. We didn't actually see how Peke got the kill. Wow, that burst. But again, same story. Had Jezz's gone into the fight and put some more bouncy bombs on this cluster, it could have worked out. Enrated with a good death sentence, catches Peke over the GA of Cyanide. Candy Pan and Sven, the forward to back away. So unfortunately for Freddy, he just got left to the wayside. There's not a whole lot you can do about that.
Yeah, Freddy is the man that makes the calls for SK. Obviously was the one that said, I am the sacrificial lamb, along with the rest of my team that's going to get caught out. Candy Panda, you got to argue, maybe should have got away earlier. You talked about if Soaz can get on him, he's in trouble. We saw it right there. Sven Skuren may well be in trouble himself here. If he comes around that corner, Dark Binding does not land. There's the Lantern that's going to get them to safety.
Destiny?
Just right now, Destiny is going to go in there. They're going straight for Baron. They're going to get it.
There's no big Inferno Bomb, so steal potential is mitigated. Easy Baron for Fnatic. They've got so much damage, and now it looks like they still want to fight. Soaz can jump in there with his descent.
So confident going 1v5 there, no doubt about.
Even stands and dances.
Yeah,
Gets his boogie on.
Gives a little boogie to SK. This has got to feel good for Fnatic, as I mentioned. They went 3-1 in the league during the spring split. It was not a game they often won, but this time around they are looking so strong in the league. 23-4, and of course, at 4-4, this is an important victory for Fnatic if they can get it.
It's a very big turning point for them in terms of their play style. Just the way in which they've made use of the jungle invades and the invisible Evelynn and the invisible Twitch is just, it really is phenomenal. So we do see the Fnatic, they've got all the way down. Oh, they've caught Cyanide!
They've caught Cyanide out, but they can't follow up on it, and there is Peke taking down that tower. So much burst damage on them cards right now, taking out those turrets. Soaz happy to just tank on through this one while the rest of his team cause problems. The knock-up not there because the Banshee's Veil doing enough. That's the mid lane inhibitor going down to Fnatic as they continue putting pressure on. This turret's going to go down. Look at that. Peke and Reckless combined just destroy that turret where it stands. SK Gaming desperately trying to cause a fight here, but they've got nothing. So Skuren's going to get locked up there. Nobody helping out with the safeguard, continues to get locked up. But Fnatic, they don't want to fight. They're just taking the turrets and minions.
Yeah, they're taking the objectives, which is what their focus has been. We do see Destiny coming out. We'll see if Peke is going to go aggressive. He's going to use it just for information. This is the first time that Fnatic have successfully done that split push, where they left Soaz in the top lane because Freddy was not in the front line. Freddy wasn't able to actually help in defending that mid turret, and it just allowed Fnatic to get super minions. So with Baron, with super minions, this is all dead Candy.
Candy Panda comes around the corner. There's a goal! Oh, no, is he going to take him? No, he gets away. Didn't really have the vision just around the corner. Candy Panda, well, he's got to give Enrated a hug for saving him on that one.
There's so much damage from Peke. Voidsoft, Deathcap, Lichbane, I mean, that's a fully stacked mid lane, a 9-11. Reckless on the other side, I mean, he can insta-gib anybody as well. Fnatic have got the damage to back up anybody they catch up. And unfortunately for SK, they've been caught out 23 times this game, which is resulting in just decimation from Fnatic's side. I mean, Yellowstar's even grabbed himself and needs a large rod. You know your team's doing well when you've got Mikhail's Crucible, Locker the Ancillary, and a needlessly large rod on your support Morgana.
Candypan needs to sort that cough out. I keep looking in the bottom corner, seeing him moving that microwave coughing away, so hope he recovers soon. At the moment though, Fnatic continuing. Just that bottom inhibitor turret is up. Of course, the inhibitor didn't get taken down in that top lane yet, so it may be a focus. You can see Soaz in there, he's giving it some poke, giving it some...
The moment they commit to Soaz, the rest of Fnatic are just going to get the bottom inhib turret.
Oh, Jesus is the only one defending it as well. Three-man focus on towards Soaz, desperately trying to keep on towards him. Reckless will get some poke in there. Soaz taken very low on this one. Does quickly just flash away. Okay, safe.
That's the third or fourth time we've seen Candypan as Culling not really anticipating his opponent's movements. He has not been on point this game. And case in point, when he got, caught out in the bottom lane, he was overextended. He got punished for it. Unfortunately, because of SK's individual weaknesses in this game, they've really been falling further behind. And Fnatic, you can't take anything away from them. They've just had such a great control game. The moment Soaz gets the inhibitor, Fnatic will go for the tower again.
Candy Panda is going to try and keep him away, but now with a GA complete for Soaz, I'm not sure Candy Panda wants his fight. Peke's going to come in, has to flash away, gold card, and it's a two-shot victory for Peke.
Death Fire Grasp has been secured in place of the Athene's Unholy Grail. That should be the game for Fnatic. They're going to get the inhibitors and they're going to be on the Nexus.
Yeah, that's the third inhib going down. Reckless will take that one down. The Nexus turrets will not hold any defensive duties. Freddy dives in, just trying to desperately get something from this one. Mega Inferno Bomb. Everybody from SK bomb rushing in towards Fnatic, but it's all just to naught because they're just going to drop straight down again. Peke gets himself another. It's a 10-1-10 rat, a 10-2-13. Peke in the mid lane. 19 assists for Yellow Star. Fantastic performance. Fnatic absolutely dominating that game. It took them 48 minutes to close it out, but it was a solid victory.
Mind-boggling control. From the opening minutes of that game, they made a very, very clear statement that they were going to be controlling SK Gaming's jungle and getting in their faces. And I don't think I've ever seen a team that decisive with non-engaged champions. I mean, Shyvana and Evelyn were in SK's face every single time they could.
3-0-15 for Soaz, 3-0-15 for Cyanide. These are all fantastic stats, with what? 27 kills overall, 23 of them involving Peke. This time, Twisted Fate worked out perfectly for him. We talked about it at the start, and it was Reckless. Reckless was roaming, starting to create the play, and it just gave basically 3 assists or kills for Peke just to come in, assist his AD carry, and these two carriers just dominated the game.
It's what we talked about in the pregame, how the Twisted Fate needed to get good ultimates in order to allow those flanks. Needed to get good Destiny ganks to get control for Twitch, for Shyvana. Now, he didn't need to go directly to the lane, because what Fnatic did to circumvent that laning phase is they forced SK to react. They forced SK into positions where they needed to group up early. And because they grouped, they're just like, well, Evelyn and Shyvana just happened to be really good against grouped enemies.
And you got to wonder, really, how many times people were caught out. And Fnatic are very good at getting a pick comp. That is probably the tactic that works best for Fnatic, in my opinion. They are very good at basically ganking people out, hiding in bushes, catching someone out. But you've got a question. I mean, obviously, ward control was a problem because they had 4 sweeping lenses so early on. But every single time it was Enrated or Jesus just a little too far out of position in lane.
So the thing is, in the early game, SK's wards were fantastic. They had much better vision than Fnatic did. But I do think they weren't anticipating that speed at which Fnatic engaged on them, because they had very good vision in the top half of the map. The problem is there was a decision mistake because vision was top, Candy Panda's pushing bottom. You're like, why? What was the thinking? You weren't aware of where people were. And what Fnatic did very well is they forced SK into positions where they couldn't commit to that same level of vision. And once they couldn't commit to the same level of vision, their composition just punished harder and harder and harder.
So is this the big sign that Fnatic fans wanted to see? Is this Fnatic back in control, taking down SK, who were second in the league?
So I would say it's one game. I would also say it completely caught me off guard. I wouldn't be surprised if it caught SK off guard. The level of control, the level of coordination. What it does mean is the next time these two teams face, this is the level that they will be anticipating. And we need to see how Fnatic do tomorrow if they can bring the same level of aggression and the same level of in-your-face gameplay, because it is quite uncharacteristic from what we've seen over the last 8 games that they play.
Well, historic Fnatic fans would love to know, I'm sure, that Lamia actually is back as well. The Season 1 World Champion AD Carry, he's in the Fnatic camp right now. He was upstairs, I just had a chat with him. So it's good to see the AD Carry back from his trip to Asia he was for a good year.
I learned to play Ashe watching him and hoped to emulate
the Pentakill Master. Yeah.
And, you know, I just, for Fnatic, the confidence boost that this game is going to give them, hopefully can carry through for the rest of the games, and we need to see if they can pick it up.
Well, Shox and Deficio are standing by with Yellow Star, so let's send it over to them.
Thank you very much, D-Man. I'm Ify Shox supporter along with Martin Deficio Lunga, and we are here with Fnatic's support Yellow Star after that win versus SK Gaming. And what a flashy win it was. Let's take it back to the beginning. In picks and bans, a brown ban coming in for you guys. We've heard before that sometimes you guys struggled in that phase, so what was the strategy in this one specifically?
In the banning phase, we just ban the OP champions, even though there are too many. We just try to target what's the most annoying to play against, and that's pretty much what we did.
I have to ask though, what is it Braum does so well, seeing as you guys banned away? Why is it so annoying?
I don't know, you see the big guy running on you, like his passive is really OP. He just hits you once and then you can proc the stun really fast, and it's really broken, so I think he's really powerful.
Well, we might see him here later today, but you guys banned them out. So tell me, what was the comp focused around for you guys? A lot of flanking elements in there.
They had Ziggs, which is really powerful. He can stall games so long. And we had Evelyn and Twitch, which are really strong at pickoffs, and that's why we add up TF.
And I would actually like to know from you, because again, we see a lot of roaming now here in the early game. AD carries are actually the ones who just stands by themselves to farm, and then 4 members run around the mid lane for both teams here. For you as a support and one of the shot callers for Fnatic, of course, how is it for you to play in this current meta, and what do you actually think about it?
Well, I did a good choice. I mean, I'm not AD anymore, so I have more impact on the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good. Like, we have to be really aware of what's going on the map. You have to do a lot of calls, and I think it makes the game less boring because a lot of action is going on, lots of skirmishes, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and in this game again, you were roaming a lot, and a central element for you guys in the early game were the trinkets, 4 red ones and 1 blue one. Tell me about the strategy to kind of choke SK out of their own objectives in that early game.
Well, I think they did a mistake, since you normally play on the other side of the map. Like, especially when we caught Aatrox and Lee Sin at the race, they shouldn't be there normally because we have more members. So pretty much they had to use 2 flash, and then we were just using that advantage with TF once he turned 6. And I think we played this game pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. The early game, very impressive.
Yeah, 100%. And I actually want to talk a little bit about Reckless as an AD carry, because in this game, of course, on Twitch, he was the guy who stealthed around, and Pekka could join in here with his ulti. For you, when Reckless plays a Twitch like this here, what do you actually think of him as an AD carry? Is he the best in Europe at roaming around, or what do you think?
Well, he is pretty good at on many ADs, and Twitch is kind of a playmaker because he can go around, sneak in, and yeah, pretty much we just have to protect him, and as long as he gets kills, he's going to carry.
Yeah, and actually you guys say that positioning is so important, he has to sneak and get around, and it was so central in team fights as well. We actually have an example of one of those team fights in the late game, where SK actually got pretty close to doing very well in those fights. We're going to pull it up on the screen and let you talk through it, because very interesting moment here.
Yeah, so just quickly to set up a little bit for you. Of course, you guys have been trying to get the Baron for a few minutes here, been baiting SK out, catching them, killing them a few times. And obviously for you guys, you need to get Baron to actually close out the game against Ziggs here. The interesting thing for me in this team fight is, and actually for you as well, did you know Xpeke was going to teleport behind Ziggs here? Or were you just full focus on the team fight? If you actually just roll the clip, you can start talking over it and explain it as things happen.
Yeah, so we pretty much knew that we were stacked and they were split. So it's my bad that I put a black shield on Soaz. But the thing is, Reckless didn't call that he was going really deep, so I should have put my black shield on him. And then, like, Cyanide calls to target Lucian, but we cannot because they have a lot of melees and we take a lot of damage from their AoE. But we just call to backwards, and then we just kill them little by little.
And at the same time, it really shows how far ahead you guys are.
Yeah.
Your AD carry dies early on, and yet even though Xpeke is in there, I know he was killing, of course, Jess is down in the mid lane, but you can still stay in there, you can survive it, and Candy Panda, of course, goes down here in the end because you just want to buy some time. But for me, it's just very awesome to see how you guys can split up as a team very fast. Xpeke can go one way, kill it, and you guys stay together, and of course, you take the blame for the Black Shield. I respect that.
One final question. As we saw here, as said, the Zig's annoying to close out against, even if you're that far ahead. You did have a little trouble closing it out when you were this far ahead. Do you relate that to the other problems you guys have had in the mid game recently, or what do you make of this as a game?
Well, everyone has bad times, you know. We just have to analyze what we're doing wrong, and it takes more time to fix the issues than pointing them out. So give us some time and we'll be back.
And now with all this talk, of course, on Twitter, on Reddit, about some players, some teams don't want to read all the comments, don't want to read if there's anything negative. You guys as a team now, of course, you have such a huge fan base. There must be a lot of comments coming towards your way when you guys are losing. What do you actually think of it, and how do you handle all the pressure?
Well, personally, I don't really get touched by these comments because I'm always the guy who's motivated to win. So even if we're on the ground, I will just stand up and carry my teammates on my back even. And, you know, some are just weaker. And we're just a family, so I'm just here to help them out. And, yeah, we try to ignore. Like, if it really hurts, like some comments really hurts, but it's fine. Like, we have our winning time and we have our bad times, so we'll be showing up on time.
The best answer, of course, is a win like this versus SK Gaming. Congratulations once again, Yellow Star. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because our day is just getting started. And as a reminder, due to the Copenhagen Wolves' forfeit against Roccat, our next match coming up will be the Super Hot Crew versus Millennium. We'll be right back.
But there's going to be the destiny. Peke's deep though. The rest of his team haven't really followed through on this one. Mega Inferno Bomb comes in. The dead sentence lands, but it doesn't matter. The damage is there. Oh, is he going to get caught down? No! That's going to be the Zhonya's. Is it enough? Peke's going to come out of this one. The culling is bad from SK. It doesn't quite land in the right place. Peke does get it rated down. Freddy's Bloodwell popped. Now he's going to go down as well. Yellowstar uses its ulti, but nobody's going to follow up. Here comes Peke. Peke gets locked in. Jesus goes down. Mega Inferno Bomb. It's absolutely nothing. And that is SK getting wiped off the map. He's trying desperately to pull anyone towards him. That's some good damage on Reckless. Gets kicked straight back in towards it. Reckless goes down. I'm not sure Candy Panda wants his fight. Peke's going to come in. Has to flash away. Gold card. And it's a two-shot victory for Peke.